In other news, Google Analytics is going to self-destruct on July 1st, which means you're schmuck out of luck.
Hold on. Before you spiral about this news, which is somewhat accurate, there is a really simple and easy solution to ensuring that you as a small business owner can continue to track information on your website performance, Google Ads, Google AdSense, and whatever else. And that's to very simply upgrade your Google Analytics account from the current version, Universal Analytics, to Google Analytics 4, or what they're calling GA4. And if you want a quick tutorial on how to go about doing that, keep watching. All right, so before I log into my computer so that I can show you how to very easily upgrade your Google Analytics account from the current Universal Analytics to the GA4, Google Analytics 4, there are two key things that may seem obvious, but I just want to cover my bases. In order to be able to do this, you are going to have a Google Analytics account already set up and also have access to that Google Analytics account. If you don't have either one of those things, if you haven't set up an account, then this video is not going to be useful. Or if you do have a Google Analytics account, but you don't have access to it, somebody else does, they're going to need to go in and do that, or you're going to have to ask them for a username and password to be able to access your Google Analytics account. So now that I've covered my bases, let me tap into my computer to show you what you need to do before July 1st, 2023, so that you don't find yourself in a pickle thinking that you're still collecting data and information when you're not. All right, so the first thing you have to do in order to update your Google Analytics to GA4 from Universal Analytics is obviously to log into your Google Analytics account. So I'm going to google.com/analytics and I'm going to log in. Now this right here is going to pop up and it's telling me, it's notifying me that as of July 1st, 2023, that I need to upgrade to the GA4 property because the Universal Analytics is not going to continue to collect data. And so they have a nice little counter here that they're reminding you. Now, here's the thing I recommend. I have done research and I've read that you do not want to use the GA4 Setup Assistant. So I'm going to hit no thanks, and instead I'm going to do this manually. So what's interesting about this is whenever I did click on it, it looks like they have already created for me the Season Marketer GA4, which I did not do anything to create that in here because I haven't upgraded it. So I'm probably going to come in here and just manually set one up just to ensure that I'm setting it up correctly. So scroll down to the bottom, hit Admin, and over here I'm going to create property. And the reason you're wanting to do this is you can create separate properties as far as what you're wanting to track. So for example, if you want to do this kind of like an umbrella and you're tracking several things under there. So if I were working with several clients and I'm using their analytics and for whatever reason I want to track it under that client name, and then under there I'm tracking their website and their mobile and all kinds of other stuff, their marketing campaigns. You can all kind of house it under that one umbrella account, or you could track it individually. So internally for me, I just want to track our Season Marketer webpage. So I'm just going to name this TSM, the Season Marketer Website Analytics. And that way I know that it's the G4 one that I'm setting up because it's a little different. The name's a little different from what I had named the other one. So down here, I'm going to select the correct time zone, which is going to be Eastern time zone. And good to go. So I'm going to hit next. And it brings this up, business details. Notice both of these are required. So it's asking you to select a category and then also a business size. So go ahead and do that accordingly. All right, and then select next. The next thing it asked me to do is to select my business objective. Because I am attaching this to my website, my objective is going to be to get information. So I'm going to select the examine user behavior. This is going to allow me to collect data and information that's going to tell me exactly how people are navigating through the website, how long they're on there, etc. So that's the one I'm going to select. I'm going to hit create, and then it's going to tell me to start collecting data. This is where I actually can choose the platform. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select web, and up here I'm going to input the web address that I want it to start collecting information on. And I'll just leave this as TSM website for the stream name. So I'm going to create stream, and now it's giving me this. Now, this pop-up appeared because it's telling me that I need to install my Google tag. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to be what's embedded on the back end of my website that is going to be able to collect that information. So I am going to select, because I don't want to use their website builder or CMS to do it, I'm going to install it manually. So this is the actual code that I am going to take and paste into the head of my website. So if I come over here and select copy, it copies the code, and then I'm able to go into my WordPress and actually embed that code. So we're going to exit out of here, and I'm going to be sure that I save that code somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come in here and I'm going to change just a couple things to what I've done before I actually go and embed it onto my website. If you scroll down, you'll notice that right here where it says events, it's telling me what it's tracking. So right now it's tracking a total of 7 things: page views, scrolls, outbound clicks, site search, video engagement, file downloads, and form interactions. If I want to change any of that, I come over here to this little icon and I can toggle between what it is actually collecting data on. So that's a very easy way for me to turn on and off what I'm looking to capture. So I'm going to save that. Now, all right, so once I actually clicked on continue, it told me that it was going to take about 48 hours for it to start collecting data. And so the information is pending. Now, what I have here is after I hit OK, it prompted me and it's now saying, it's asking me to select which property I would be switching from Universal Analytics to GA4. Now, here's the thing: is I am gonna select none, so no. So that way, I can just start fresh. So I'm gonna hit save, and now I have a whole new account that is GA4. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I want to actually be sure that I am collecting the information that I want in the way that I want it reported. And there are 2 things in particular that I'm going to change on here. So I'm going to scroll down here to where it says admin, and I'm going to come over here under the property section. I have the correct property selected. It's my new GA4 account, TSM Website Analytics. And I'm going to scroll down to data settings. Under data settings, I have data collection, data retention, data filters, and channel groups. I am actually going to select data retention. Now, notice this is showing me that it is going to retain information for 2 months. I don't want it to just retain information for 2 months. I want it to retain information much longer than that because I want to be able to use the data and to do some comparison down the road. So down here, I'm going to select that down arrow and another option pops up for 14 months, and that is what I'm going to select. So now I'll hit save, and that means it is going to keep my data and information for 14 months as opposed to the default 2 months. Very important for you to go in there and change that if that is something you want to do as well. The second thing that we're going to do, and you certainly do not have to do this, but we're going to be sure that we are omitting any of the activity that we're doing on the website ourselves. So for example, because I go in there and I check a lot of what I'm doing on the website just to be sure that it's accurate and correct, I'm going to add the IP address from my home office so that I know that it's not going to skew my reports in including my activity into what I think would be activity on the website overall from outside sources. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to need my IP address, and then I'm going to come over here to data streams on the left-hand side. Remember, I'm on the right property. I'm going to click data streams, and I'm going to select this one right here. Now, when I come over here, I'm going to scroll down to settings, and it's going to show me manage automatic event detection, configure your domains, and allow user provided data capabilities. What I'm looking for is define internal traffic. Notice it does not show up. I need to come over here to this drop down to the right and select show all. When I scroll down, it's listed right here, define internal traffic. So I'm going to select that. Then I'm going to select create. Now right here, I'm going to name this home office so that I know it's the home office, and I'll leave it internal. Then I'm going to come to this drop down and I'm going to do IP address equals, or you could select IP address begins with or contains. I'm going to do equals, and then I'm going to type in here my IP address. Now, if you don't know what your IP address, that's okay. You can simply go and look it up by going to your Wi-Fi and seeing what the public address is on there. So once you get that value, go ahead and paste it in there, and then you're going to come up here and select create. So once that's created, you're going to want to log out, and you're going to come back over here to your property section. So first you're going to notice that you're under the right property, and then you're going to scroll down once again to data settings, select data filters, and right here it says internal traffic exclude, and it's testing it. And then you're going to scroll down here and change it from testing to actually active and hit save. So activate filter. Now that means that it is now not tracking what I am doing on the website, so my reporting is going to be a lot cleaner than if I was including that information on there. So now the final step is actually going to be to include that tag onto my website. Once I'm logged into my WordPress site, I'm going to come over here to the left-hand panel, and I'm going to look for plugins, and I want to add new. Over here in the search bar, I'm going to type in HFCM. And this is going to pull up a header footer code manager. I'm going to hit install now. Once it's installed, I'm going to select activate. Same button, it just changes to activate. And now it'll appear over here on the left-hand panel. So you'll notice it's right there. I'm going to hit on all snippets. I'm going to add a new snippet. So at the top, I'll select add new snippet. And this is where you're going to include the code. Now, I'm going to type in here Google Analytics 4, GA4, and make sure header is selected. We want it to be site-wide. And we're going to paste the code right here. So I'm going to go back over to my Google tag. And the TSM website is the new one that we created. So I'm going to click that. All right, and remember we're installing manually, so I'm just going to copy this right here, go back to my website, include that code, and hit save. All right, so now going back over to Google Analytics, and notice we're going to see what it says as far as our web stream details. Now remember, it's going to take 48 hours for it to reflect the information, but I want to see if, so it's still going to say no data received from your website. If I go over to the reports though, and notice it's going to say real time. If I scroll down here to select real time, it says 0 users. But what I'm doing is I'm opening up an incognito window, and I'm going to go to theseasonedmarketer.com. And then I'm going to come back to my Google Analytics. If I scroll down here, you'll notice that now it actually says that there's 1 user. And it's telling me that it's on the main page in the last 30 minutes. So it is showing that it's connecting correctly. Now, granted, remember, it's not going to show me all of the data until 48 hours or up to 48 hours later. However, I know that it's tagged and imported into the back end of my website, and it's showing and activated as it should. So this is a great thing, and that is as easy as it is to upgrade to GA4 and to actually put the code into your website. So now you can track all of the Google Analytics as you were before under the Universal Analytics. As you may have guessed, there are going to be a few changes to the metrics and the reporting in GA4, Google Analytics 4, as opposed to what we were using in Universal Analytics. And so we've created a free download for you to cover some of that in a very brief overview. So if you're interested in finding out what some of those changes are, go ahead and click that link in the description below so that you can access that free download here today. Hey, if you're an SOB, small owned business, then stick around and watch this next video right here. And don't forget that we have over 200 free marketing videos that you can access here today. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.